The encrypted message appeared on Carter's phone at precisely 3:07 a.m., the glow of the screen cutting through the darkness of his apartment. It was just 3 words. "They're watching you." His first instinct was disbelief, but the numbers on his trading terminal told a different story. Every major account he monitored, every algorithm he programmed was twitching in ways no human error could explain. The markets were alive, and someone or something was controlling them from the shadows. Carter had spent years mastering risk, analyzing liquidity, predicting trends, and yet he had never encountered manipulation this precise. It wasn't just a breach, it was a masterclass in control. He leaned closer, eyes scanning the ledger of anomalies, heart beating faster. Offshore transfers appeared as ghost transactions, disappearing and reappearing across continents in microseconds, patterns too intricate for a single human mind. He realized the truth. Someone had turned the global financial system into a game, and he was at its center without knowing it. His apartment phone buzzed again. A text followed with an image of a symbol, a sigil Carter had seen only once before, in a cryptic document from an obscure hedge fund forum. The symbol was a key, a signal, and a warning. The Vault. That was the name whispered among traders in encrypted chat rooms, a phantom network that controlled liquidity, risk, and sometimes lives. Carter's fingers shook as he typed, cross-referencing every account, every transfer, every anomaly. The deeper he dug, the more tangled the web became. The more he realized he wasn't chasing criminals, he was uncovering architects. His screen flashed. A microsecond discrepancy highlighted a series of trades that, if executed, could trigger billions in cascading losses. He understood immediately. This was a test, and he had failed the first checkpoint. Before he could respond, the door to his apartment clicked, a shadow appearing across the frosted glass. Carter froze. He knew he was being watched in real time. The man who entered moved silently, a figure in a tailored suit, briefcase in hand. He placed the briefcase on the table without a word. Carter's eyes narrowed, heart hammering. Inside the briefcase were documents, names, accounts, and, most chillingly, a set of instructions. Step 1, observe. Step 2, obey. Step 3, deliver. The man's voice was calm, measured, almost clinical. Carter, welcome to the architecture of outcomes. You've been chosen to participate, whether you like it or not. Carter swallowed hard. Chosen? By who? The man smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly. By the system that runs everything you've ever valued. By the Vault. Carter realized the stakes. This wasn't just finance. This was control on a scale he had never imagined, and every move he made would ripple across markets, affecting millions. The man continued, "Your first assignment begins immediately. You will trace the anomalies you discovered, confirm the pathways, and report back. Failure to comply will not be tolerated, and the system is not forgiving." Carter opened the first file. The names inside were staggering. Directors, traders, CEOs, all connected through a lattice of shell corporations, offshore accounts, and hidden investments. Each page told a story of leverage, manipulation, and invisible power. Carter's training in risk assessment had prepared him for volatility, but nothing could prepare him for real-time human orchestration on a global scale. The briefcase clicked shut as the man left, disappearing as silently as he had come. Carter sat in the dim glow of his monitors, the hum of servers echoing in his ears. He understood every decision he made from now on would be tracked, analyzed, and used as data. The message from before pulsed on his phone again. Your first test begins now. Panic surged, but Carter knew hesitation was lethal. He opened the ledger, mapping out the network, tracing transactions across borders, noting the smallest discrepancies. Every movement was deliberate, every gap intentional. He noticed a pattern. Seemingly random trades formed a perfect staircase of influence, shifting markets subtly, yet predictably. He realized the vault didn't just manipulate money, they manipulated perception, confidence, and fear. Carter's mind raced. He had to stay ahead, to anticipate the moves before the moves existed. His terminal pinged, an alert he hadn't set, highlighting a $500 million transfer from a hedge fund he'd once trusted. The transaction split across 10 accounts in 4 countries, disappearing within seconds. Carter realized the brilliance. By moving in fractions, the vault avoided detection, yet influenced markets as if by magic. He leaned back, trying to process. It was a dance of numbers, but also of psychology, sociology, and power. Every trader, every investor, every algorithm could be nudged, manipulated, or destroyed. They didn't understand the hidden hands. Carter understood one crucial thing: survival depended on secrecy and speed. He began mapping connections between shell companies, offshore accounts, and personal networks, piecing together a lattice of control that the vault had built over decades. The deeper he went, the more dangerous it became. Emails, private messages, financial documents, even social media accounts were part of the architecture. Every digital footprint mattered. At 3:42 a.m., Carter received another message, a single image of a yacht moored in an unknown port with a timestamp. Beneath it, a line read, "Observe, learn, comply." His stomach twisted. It wasn't just a threat, it was a lesson. The vault didn't negotiate, it educated. Carter worked through the night, piecing together trades, noting patterns, identifying key influencers. Each discovery felt like unearthing a bomb. One wrong move could trigger a market collapse. He found anomalies that indicated insider coordination. Trades executed milliseconds apart, designed to test liquidity and human reaction simultaneously. Carter realized the vault wasn't just controlling wealth. They were engineering decisions, forcing players into predictable patterns. By dawn, Carter had a working model of the network. The phone buzzed again, a new message appearing. Your first contribution is due. Execute precisely, without deviation. He followed the instructions, routing a small test transaction through multiple accounts, observing reactions in real time. Algorithms responded almost instinctively. Human traders panicked or profited in calculated ways. Carter understood the elegance. The vault created a live classroom, and he was both student and participant. Hours later, a follow-up message arrived. Well executed. You have potential. Observe, comply, deliver, or fail. Carter exhaled. This was not finance as he knew it. It was a controlled ecosystem of influence, invisibility, and absolute power. By noon, news feeds were reporting unusual market activity, subtle enough to go unnoticed by most, yet precise enough to generate massive internal shifts. Carter realized he had already affected millions in ways they would never understand. The lesson was clear. The vault controlled not just transactions, they controlled trust, fear, and perception. Every decision mattered. Every action was measured. Carter felt a mix of exhilaration and dread. The system was brilliant, surgical, and unyielding. For the first time, he understood. His life, his career, his freedom were now measured in precision trades and invisible networks. There would be no room for error. By evening, Carter had traced over 100 connections, identified key influencers, and completed the first assignment. Another message appeared. Tomorrow, the stakes increase. Carter knew then that his reality had shifted irreversibly. He had entered a world where money was just a tool, and control was the ultimate currency. There were no spectators here, only participants, and failure was invisible until it was too late. The sun set over the city, painting the skyline in gold and crimson, and Carter stared at the monitors, understanding that the lessons would continue indefinitely. Each market movement, each hidden transaction, each subtle shift was part of a grand puzzle. By nightfall, Carter realized he was no longer trading money, he was navigating the very architecture of influence itself. He checked his phone one last time. A final message blanked. Remember, the network sees all. Trust the flow. You are now part of the vault. Carter exhaled slowly, tension coiling at his chest. The world outside continued, unaware of the invisible forces guiding their every move. Inside, he had a choice: submit fully and survive, or resist and be erased from the equation. There was no middle ground. Carter began preparing for the next phase. He knew the market would test him again, and this time, every action would carry consequences beyond calculation. The vault was patient, methodical, and omniscient. By midnight, Carter's system was running automated simulations, tracing hundreds of microtransactions, analyzing behavior, and predicting responses. Each test brought clarity. Each anomaly taught a lesson. He understood now. The power wasn't in money. It was in the knowledge of manipulation, the architecture of decisions, and the orchestration of invisible influence. Carter leaned back, eyes scanning the skyline through his window, city lights reflecting off the glass. He was awake, alert, and irrevocably part of a machine larger than he could imagine. And deep inside, a thought crystallized. He had survived the first lesson, but the next one would be deadlier. The vault was patient, and so was he. If he wanted to survive, he had no choice.